Good afternoon. This is Steve Batty. It is November 4th. I'm at the High Plains Museum in McCook, Nebraska. Justine asked me to talk about Rocky Mountain National Park and some of my thoughts on it, so I'm going to share those with you today. Rocky Mountain National Park was our 10th national park, and it was established in January 1915, the same year my father had his first birthday in Grand Lake. The size of it is about 360 square miles, and it stretches from Estes Park on the eastern slope of the Rockies to about Grand Lake. It expanded in the 1970s to include the trail, most of the Trail Ridge Road all the way from Estes to Grand Lake, which is about 48 miles. One of the distinctions about the Rocky Mountain National Park, and most people refer to it as Rocky, is that it also is the home of the only national park, as far as we know, cemetery that's an active cemetery. And I buried my father up there, or his ashes, in 2013. and 2021, my best friend is up there. And I have a spot reserved next to my father. Approximately 4 million people went through Rocky in 2021, so there's a lot of traffic in those 48 miles. Not everybody travels all the way over Trail Ridge. Some people just go in the fall to see the elk rutting, the trees changing to the bright yellow and a little bit of red. But it's used for many purposes for all summer long. Basically, it's open from Memorial Day, the end of May, 1st of June, through Labor Day, which is in the 1st of September, but weather usually closes the park and sometime in October when it starts getting snowy on top of Trail Ridge and the road gets a little hazardous. About the only thing that I can think of that's really affected the park, ecologically wise, is the distinction of the wolves. The wolves kept the elk in check, and now that all the wolves are gone, the elk tend to have multiplied because they don't have any really natural enemies. The Estes side of it is quite a event in the fall because there are so many elk. They come into the town of Estes and they kind of take over the open areas and things come to a halt. But other than that, you don't see them there. Most of the year they're in the higher country. We do have a few moose that have migrated down, I think, from Wyoming, and I've seen them right around our old lake cottage, was built in 1909, walking in front and behind, and they've chased my dog as I walked the lake, things like that. But people really kind of enjoy them. They're such a homely animal and so big, and they have no natural enemy up there other than maybe the front end of a car on occasion. Grand Lake is also surrounded by Rocky Mountain National Park on 3 sides. And that's the headwaters of the Colorado River. The Comanche Valley, starting at about Lulu City, which is way up in the park, and at the headwaters of the Colorado River. And also another tributary of the Colorado River comes through Grand Lake. And they meet in Shadow Mountain Lake and go all the way to California. So it's a fairly main artery of irrigation and water for the towns in the area. My particular love for Rocky comes from spending summers in August, almost every summer when I was growing up, fishing with my father up the East Inlet and the North End into Rocky Mountain National Park, and coming back with native trout, German brown, the local species there, because it was such a beautiful trip. We'd pack our fly rods, have our creels, Dad would have his hip waders, I'd have my white tennis shoes, and we always made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and took an orange and a Hershey chocolate bar, and that would be lunch. So we'd walk up starting at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and we'd get back by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon with a full creel of fish, with the limit at that time was 10. But mostly the special part was it was with my father. He was a small town country doctor, and I didn't get to spend much time with him because really the patients were first on his list. But in Grand Lake for those first 2 weeks, it was heavenly for me. And so I have a deep love for Grand Lake and Rocky Mountain National Park. It's just a part of me, and I've tried to share it with my children, and now they're my grandchildren. But people go for all kinds of reasons. The Continental Divide Trail for the hikers that go from Glacier National Park up on the Canadian border clear down to Mexico, walk right past my little house in Grand Lake, and I have a cottage for them to stay in. Also, they walk it from south to north too, but it's a 6-month trip, 3,000 miles, one step at a time, and I really admire those folks. But other people just go because of Adams Falls on the East Inlet. Other people go for the wildflowers, just the running streams. Some people just love to hike. Whatever it is, those 4 million people that back in 2021 enjoyed it. So if you have an opportunity and you're traveling over to the United States, come to Rocky Land. We'd love to see you.